Hey everybody, welcome back to Tanner's Books and Beyond, and I am cold and tired. I just recorded a whole thing for my September wrap-up and my book haul and my October TBR, and my computer biffed it. I don't know what happened, it's just everything is going great, and then I finished the recording and nothing came out. It was just gone. It's into the nether with ye. So, it's been a long couple of weeks. I spent 1 week reading straight, and the week after that I was working pretty much every day, and the week after that I was recording almost every day. And I'm feeling really burnt out. I purchased 5 video games over the past 2 weeks, and I haven't had time to play any of them because I've been too busy with books, which is kind of the opposite problem that most people think our generation has when you think about it. But yeah, so this is going to be, since this is the second time I'm going through it, this is going to be my super abridged wrap-up book haul TBR for September and my October TBR. So, fortunately, pretty much everything that I read and bought in September was covered in my Diversathon vlogs, and I'm not going to go over them for you, so you can just go back and check on those if you really need to, or you can check my Instagram, because I kept track of most of those there as well. But for the few stuff that wasn't, at the beginning of the month, I read the Bird Lady's House of Weird Kids book, and I quite enjoyed it. I read it in anticipation for the movie, which I still haven't seen, but I will maybe in the next year. I liked how it kind of had a vintage X-Men style. I liked how Ransom Reigns was able to incorporate all of the photos into the narrative. I think my favorite thing was that it didn't evolve into a Chosen One plot. I mean, the main character is still the hero, but it's because of his own choices and his own character. It's not just because he was tossed in there because of destiny. And I think the thing I like most is that it focused a lot on family relationships and friend relationships, and that's something I can always appreciate. And then for the book haul, thanks to a combination of a really good paycheck and finding an old gift card in my wallet, I was able to go back to chapters after spending so much money on my Diversathon books. And so I got these between Diversathon itself and the wrap, which was why they weren't on that wrap list. So I got Shadow Shaper by Daniel Jose Older, Silent Voice #1, which is a manga by Yoshitoki Oima, Faith, which is the Valiant comic book, Volume 1, Hollywood and Vine. And then I've got Hamilton, the Revolution, which is much lighter than you'd expect it to be. I mean, this thing looks like a brick, but it's actually pretty low mass, pretty low density. So that covers it for my bookish September experiences, and now moving on to October. I always dreamed, right when I started this channel back in January, that I could do a theme month for October, and I was looking at my wish list, and I was looking at books I already have on my to-be-read shelf, and I realized that I have a lot of zombie books, so I picked up the zombie books I needed, and yeah, I'm gonna do a zombie theme for October, and we're gonna call this Undead October. Yes, very nice. I'm so burnt out I already feel like I'm one of the undead, which is why I'm only reading 7 books this month. Wait, no, that seems counterintuitive. Well, I mean, the point is that great as Diversathon was, I had basically had to read 1 book every single day, and so it was high-key way more stressful than what I've got planned out for October, which is 7 books spread out over 31 days. So I've got Revival by Stephen King, which I've already started, I'm about 100 pages through. I'm not entirely sure if this is actually a zombie book, but I do know that it has a lot of inspiration from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, so it should fall under that header. Then we've got The Girl with All the Gifts by, who's it by? M.R. Carey. Then there's the Newsflesh trilogy by Myra Grant, which consists of Feed, Deadline, and Blackout. Passing Strange by Daniel Waters, and it's the 3rd book in the Generation Dead series, which I read several years ago. I love them, they were great. Not nearly as hokey as I thought they were going to be, but like I said, it's been several years since I read them, and I might actually have to go reread some bits and pieces just so I'm more familiar with the plot, because I can barely remember character names. And then finally we've got iZombie Volume 1, the Vertical comic that the CW show is based on. Look, you got the little logo down there! I know that the comic is way different from the show. That's actually why I want to read it, just because I want to see how they can diverge so greatly, and I want to see if the comic can stand on its own, and it probably can. And I know the show definitely can, because it's like one of my favorite shows on television, and I'm actually the runner of the Incorrect iZombie Quotes Tumblr blog, so you guys can check that out too. But yeah, that covers October. This was way less in-depth than the first one I recorded, but I guess that recording is now gone into the twisting nether, and never shall it be seen again by human eyes. So, I'm gonna go take a nap. You guys can check me back in about a week. I'll give you an update on what I've gotten through, and until then, I'll see you all later.